Hello folks, today I'm going to be taking a look at Firelock Games' new Pirates of Legends box for Blood and Plunder. Okay, so the Pirates of Legend box. This set does not contain 24 multi-part figures. I think that tagline has been taken one of the other boxes. But it does contain 10 multi-part pirate figures. So you can see Black Sam, Amaro, Stede, Ceasar, so on. Each of them 1/56, so 28mm, hard plastic, and all based on the illustrations from the Raise the Black Blood and Plunder books. Inside, you get a sheet of instructions and a single sprue plus bases. Now, the instructions are exploded diagrams. I think it's the easiest way to put them. They are relatively self-explanatory. At least I hope so, because I'll be building them in a moment. But they don't go into a huge amount of detail. So really what it's telling you is which pieces make which model. The models are monopose. So you shouldn't be worrying about things fitting in different directions or that sort of finagling. As you can see here, bodies, center mass, arms and heads and other things like accoutrements, guns, powder belts, scabbards spread around. They are all marked, as you've seen on the instructions. So for example, we have here 2A2, IC2, IS1, IC3, so presumably IC2, IC3 goes together with an IC1 and IC4 somewhere. There's an IC5, one of his legs. So build one at a time and go and scout out all the pieces you need. From the exploded diagram, you'll know, for example, the first miniature here requires body and then 3 additional pieces. So if you're sitting there with 2 bits, you're missing one on the sprue. Last thing is, obviously the old metals came with integral bases with planking on them. These do not. They have separate little plastic bases. So quality looks very good, but we'll take a closer look when I've got them all built. All right, I'm back and they are all built. Very simple build with that exploded diagram. There wasn't any real issues. You just clipped the bits off the sprue from wherever they came and went together very simply. In most cases, there's only one way you can attach them, so it doesn't really worry you too much. But we're going to be starting with Black Sam Bellamy, pipe smoker. He is 30mm to eye level, about 35mm to the top of his hat. Obviously on these detailed plastic bases with the wood grain on them to match the ships. And if you already have any of the metals, they'll match them very nicely. We have Amaro Pargo, who's a absolutely spectacular, probably my favourite in the box. He has that sort of slightly foppish feel to him, like somebody from court that you'd see in a film, and then it turns out they're actually a very good fighter as well. Again, terrific detail. The nice thing about these being actually 1/56 scale is that the detail on them is great and the proportions are excellent. I like realistic proportions. Stede Bonnet, hat off, sword up. All of these miniatures match the concept art in the Raise the Black book as well. And with the exception of Blackbeard, who you get in the starter set currently. These account for every single pirate character. So one box will give you pretty much everybody if you're planning on running a pirate faction. Buse, laughing away. And they all have so much character, it doesn't matter that they are monopose, because the decision to pose them in a position way, or in a particular way, means that you've got a very unique pose for each of them. They've got a great silhouette. Charles Vane, creeping around. Pistol and sword out. And I mean, if you're not using these as the actual characters, then a lot of them will work as sort of salty sea dogs. Calico Jack. This was my only issue. You can see there, very thin sword. And you might be able to see a line about halfway there. Maybe not, actually. Well, you can see it there, the white stressing. So that arm, folded arm with the sword, is separate. And there was a bit of sprue. When I went to clean it off, I had a blunt knife and I actually snapped the top of the sword off. Which just goes to show you should always clean your blades. Change them regularly. Blunt ones are worse than sharp ones. However, I managed to get it back in the straight. So he's still ready to do the do, because it's a pirate life for he. Then I have Bart Roberts. Again, terrific looking figure. The concept arts, the sort of the pen and ink picture of him in Raise the Black has an exquisitely filigreed coat. If you fancy your painting chops, to really show him off to the fullest. So all of those are commanders in the rules. Black Ceasar can also be a commander with his own crew. However, he can also be a fighting man. If you're running, I think you can be a fighting man with many people, but certainly if you're running him with Blackbeard, he has a few interesting little abilities. Like if Blackbeard goes down and he's still alive, you get the chance to fire the ship, scuttle it, take everybody with you. That'll teach them for killing Mr. Teach. Terrific looking figure. And then the last two, which is Bonny and Mary Reid, are just fighting men. Don't believe they're commanders. But again, beautiful sculpt on Anne and Mary. Drawing her sword, getting ready to give somebody the good news. So overall, very simple build. Incredibly clean models. Mold lines are, I would say, minimal to non-existent. And the build was simple enough. Just have to watch out for the thinness of the sword on Mr. Jack. He was the only one I came close to having an issue with. Everybody else was robust and good. So there we go, folks. A great box set of commanders and fighting men and women for the 17th and 18th century pirate fleets in Blood and Plunder. Let me know what you think of them below. Until next time, bye-bye.
Go ahead and check out our other content on screen now. And while you're at it, why not hit subscribe and remember to ding our dong. Go on, you know you want to click it. Go on.